The decline of moral treatment. By the 1850s, a number of mental hospitals throughout Europe and America reported success using moral approaches. By the end of that century, however, several factors led to a reversal of the moral treatment movement. One factor was the speed with which the movement had spread. As mental hospitals multiplied, severe money and staffing shortages developed, recovery rates declined, and overcrowding in the hospitals became a major problem. Another factor was the assumption behind moral treatment that all patients could be cured if treated with humanity and dignity. For some, this was indeed sufficient. Others, however, needed more effective treatments than any that had yet been developed. An additional factor contributing to the decline of moral treatment was the emergence of a new wave of prejudice against people with mental disorders. As more and more patients disappeared into large, distant mental hospitals, the public came to view them as strange and dangerous. In turn, people were less open-handed when it came to making donations or allocating government funds. Moreover, many of the patients entering public mental hospitals in the United States in the late 19th century were poor foreign immigrants, whom the public had little interest in helping. By the early years of the 20th century, the moral treatment movement had ground to a halt in both the United States and Europe. Public mental hospitals were providing only custodial care and ineffective medical treatments and were becoming more overcrowded every year. Long-term hospitalization became the rule once again. Dance in a madhouse. A popular feature of moral treatment was the lunatic ball. Hospital officials would bring patients together to dance and enjoy themselves. One such ball is shown in this painting. Dance in a Madhouse, by George Bellows. Media speak. A Canadian woman was denied entry to the United States last month because she had been hospitalized for depression in 2012. Ellen Richardson could not visit, she was told, unless she obtained medical clearance from one of 3 Toronto doctors approved by the Department of Homeland Security. Endorsement by her own psychiatrist, which she could presumably have obtained more efficiently, would not suffice. She had been en route to New York, where she had intended to board a cruise to the Caribbean. The border agent told her he was acting in accordance with the United States Immigration and Nationality Act, Section 212. Which allows patrols to block people from visiting the United States if they have a physical or mental disorder that threatens anyone's property, safety, or welfare. The Star reported that the agent produced a signed document stating that Ms. Richardson would need a medical evaluation because of her mental illness episode. This is not the first time such measures have been reported. In 2011, Lois Kamenetz, a Canadian and a former teacher, was barred from entering the United States because she had once attempted suicide. Ryan Fritsch, former co-chairman of the Ontario Mental Health Police Record Check Coalition, told the Star that he had heard of 8 similar cases that year. After the incident, he wrote to me, "My sense is that there are a great many people being turned away." Ms. Richardson's health information should never have been available to United States authorities, and many Canadians are outraged at the thought that their government may have divulged it. Much more troubling, however, is the notion that information about a person's depression, no matter how legitimately obtained, might have any bearing on her ability to visit the United States. People in treatment for mental illnesses do not have a higher rate of violence than people without mental illnesses. Furthermore, depression affects 1 in 10 American adults. Pillorying depression is regressive, a swoop back into a period when any sign of mental illness was the basis for social exclusion. This border policy is not only unfair to visitors, but also constitutes an affront to the millions of Americans who are grappling with mental health challenges. Stigmatizing the condition is bad, stigmatizing the treatment is even worse. Yet this incident will serve only to warn people against seeking treatment for mental illness. Ms. Richardson, who attempted suicide in 2001 and as a result is paraplegic, has asserted that she has had appropriate treatment and that she now has a fulfilling, purposeful life. We should applaud people who get treatment and manage to live deeply despite their challenges. The President needs to speak out against Section 212 and to put to rest the idea that people with mental health conditions who pose no danger are unwelcome in our country. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. An Italian immigrant and her family arrive at Ellis Island in New York City in 1905. Today's U.S. immigration policies for persons with mental disorders are sometimes less generous than they were more than 100 years ago.